Hello and welcome back to Finger Guns with Tony, Dave, and James. I am your dynamic co-host, Dave Baldwin, and here I am with...
Vengeance.
No. No.
I knew you were going to say that, and I was waiting until after to tell you you're not Vengeance, but it's fine. Can you just tell us your name, please?
My name is Vengeance.
Twice?
We have Tony Baldwin.
Tony Baldwin. I'm here.
Jesus.
Greetings and salutations.
And James Amatuzio, as always.
Are you Vengeance?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm not full of myself. My ego can fit in this room that we're in.
Can it?
Yeah.
Can it now?
Yeah.
You're not
Yeah.
Vengeance.
You might be Venom.
You can be
Okay.
Venom. You
All right.
want to be
Can I be
Venom?
Venom? Can I be
You can
Venom?
Venom.
I'm
You
going to
can
be
be
Venom.
Venom.
All
You
right.
can be Venom,
All right.
but you got to sing. You got to do it the same way Eminem says it.
All right.
Venom.
Venom. Venom. Venom. Venom.
Great start, boys.
How we doing?
I am wonderful. How are you?
Doing beautifully. It's a wonderful evening to talk about a whole bunch of movies. I feel weird because it's been longer because we didn't do an episode back to back to back. So I was sitting at home this week going, man, I feel like I have to do something, but there's nothing to do. I'm just waiting to record this episode. So it's nice. I'm happy to be back. Tony?
Yeah, always happy to be back. It's been a long time.
It's been a minute.
It's been like an extra
yeah.
week, guys. You guys make it sound like we haven't done this in like a decade.
But it's been like an extra
Oh.
week, an extra 30 or 40 movies that I go through. Like,
serious.
yeah, it's a long time.
why don't you adopt a puppy or something? You need more time.
I
Yeah,
got a
you need-
puppy
yeah.
upstairs. Her name is Luna.
That's
and
not a puppy.
She's a cat.
She's a cat.
She's a cat.
But
That's why I
she
said
identifies as a dog.
puppy. She
Oh.
identifies as a dog.
Yes, she is something else. She
Okay.
is something
Well,
else.
I will respect her gender identity. That's fine.
I
with me.
appreciate that. Thank you.
How are you doing, Dave?
I'm surviving.
Good. Good.
I don't have enough time to watch 30 or 40 movies, so.
I feel you. I understand. I get it. I
La-di-da
get it.
for la-di-da for fucking Vengeance over here.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
catching on.
Yeah.
My mother listened to the last podcast and didn't have any comments about
No
you
notes.
slurping
No
clouds.
notes.
So
Yes, Josephine on board. Oh,
so that's
man.
that's something.
I appreciate that. That is the greatest news I've ever heard in my life. Speaking of Tony's watching 30 or 40 movies, let's go into a segment that we haven't done for a little bit. Best man, worst.
Whoa.
Yeah,
But what?
let's do it.
What do you want me to start with?
Let's do a round table of best, a round table
Alright.
of men, a round table of worst. How about that?
Let's
No, I'm good
I
with
love it.
that.
Cool.
Good. All right. So my best this time around would probably be Spencer. With
Nice.
Kristen Stewart.
You watched it.
Yeah, I finally watched it. I watched it the
Yes.
day of the Oscars. Watched it
Yes.
that morning, and I kind of cried a little bit
Yeah,
because it definitely would have been on my top 10 if I didn't sleep on it.
yeah. Should have
Fucking-
come to the theater with me, buddy.
Should have. It was chode move.
Yeah.
Kristen Stewart was amazing. Everyone was really amazing. I was just very enthralled in the story. It was a hell of a movie.
Yeah.
How the hell do you make a movie about the royal family and it not be boring?
Did
And
you
it-
not see The Queen? The Queen was riveting.
I don't really remember
I
that
actually
one.
haven't seen it.
Oh, that's okay.
That was Helen Mirren, right?
Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
Dame
yes.
Helen Mirren, yes.
Dame Helen Mirren, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
It's well done. It's
But
very
yeah.
well done.
Spencer was pretty much like a horror movie at first. It's something.
sounds
The
right.
music, the score was absolutely incredible. I would definitely recommend it to anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, hardcore. So here's how I broke this down. I'm going to talk about my best, and then I'm also just going to rhyme off like a bunch of others because like I watched a lot of very good movies over the last month, I think, since we last did this. So I'm saying as my best, and my actual best that I'm going to talk about is Nashville, which
Altman, well done.
Altman, yes, part of my Criterion challenge. That was my week for it, and I don't know what to say about that movie. Really, there's so much going on. And all you do is you kind of float through every scene like a fly on the wall. You're hearing conversations that are happening in the room that you're not necessarily directly involved in. The camera's not pointing at the people talking, but you're hearing it. And you're just kind of like, it makes you feel very grounded in the world at that time. Great music. great direction, a weird movie that in terms of weird in the sense of like it's not something I've ever seen before, where I'm just kind of like I'm there and I'm just kind of experiencing it. It feels almost like it's like a documentary kind of, but it's not, because it's not a documentary. But also one of the best Jeff Goldblum performances I've ever seen in my life, where all he is doing is riding a motorcycle around town, and that is his entire character. And it's amazing. And he just shows up, and he's like a connecting thread to get you from shot to shot. And that's how this movie's designed, is like someone will get you to the next shot, and that's the reason why you're in the next shot. But it's not necessarily like they're a part of anything that you need to know about yet. Like it floats, and it's a very, very cool and interesting movie. Highly recommend.
Sounds very Altman-esque.
Very.
Which week was this for Criterion?
13 for me.
So what's that? What was the category?
A movie from a director you haven't seen before, I think.
Altman.
Yep.
Oh.
Nice.
I'd never seen
nice.
one. So.
You need to start watching more Altman, son.
Yeah, buddy.
I do.
I also need to start watching more Altman, but I have seen.
Oh no, sorry. 13 was musical. Music movie.
Oh, okay.
So that's why it was Nashville. Sorry, 14, which is what I need to watch this week, is from a director I haven't seen before, and that's Moonstruck. Norman Jewison. And I have not seen any Norman Jewison movies, so that's next on my list.
We got Rollerball coming up.
Yeah. There we go. So I got to get through Moonstruck first, or else I'm gonna have to change my whole list.
It's true. It's true.
Just some other quick hits while I can, because I watched a lot of very good movies. A Brighter Summer Day, fantastic. Tony Hawk Until the Wheels Fall Off, great.
So good.
Good Time, great. After Yang, great.
Was Good Time a good time?
Oh, I had a great time. It exceeded my expectations of just a good time.
Fantastic.
After Yang, great. In Bruges, I rewatched again. Always fantastic. True Romance, I watched again.
Chef's Kiss.
Also always fantastic. It's been a great few weeks for Best. So that's for me.
Holy shit. Yeah.
It's been good. It's been
Good
good.
for you.
Good for you.
What's your best?
So there's been a couple that are really, really amazing. I rewatched Cha Cha Real Smooth, which Tony finally got to see. So that's coming out in June. So you'll need to watch that film.
It's a great film.
On the
Great
list.
film.
On the list.
Turning
film.
Red, the new Pixar,
Yep.
was incredible. Fuck the haters. My son loves the Big Red Bear.
Yep.
So
And fuck the haters. Fuck the haters. On
Fuck
that
the
movie.
haters. If you can't,
No.
maybe you're not a human.
No.
You can't. If you can't identify with it, maybe you're not a human.
Yep.
But the one I want to talk about is X by Ty West,
X gonna give it to you.
which
X definitely gave it to you.
Yeah.
I enjoyed immensely.
Yeah.
I had heard it was Texas Chainsaw with porn, and it could not be more off the mark, because that's really belittling what kind of an experience of the film it is.
Yeah.
It's very typical A24 horror, so it's very artsy.
Very.
And Chekhov's alligator.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
And a literal Chekhov's gun.
and a literal
Chekhov's gun.
Chekhov's
Exactly.
gun. And I loved that the teenagers that snuck into my screening didn't realize that it takes a while before it turns into a full-blown horror movie.
Yeah.
But the thing I wanted to talk about most was how sex positive it was.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
the film is about a group of individuals who want to film a porno.
Sure.
And you would think that there would be a number of people that, somebody's being forced to do it, somebody doesn't want to do it, somebody's really into. No, they're all very much into it. They all there's no issues of consent. It's just a lovely thing where they all just want to get fucked by Kid Cudi. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I think the only thing, I know the internet was upset that Jenna Ortega did not take off her clothes for the film, other than her Sunday underpants. But I do
Love those Sunday underpants.
But I do feel that there's a bit of a disservice in it. Not that I don't want to sound like I'm one of the internet haters, but I feel that the whole movie is about sex positivity and about coming out of your shell and kind of, exploring your sexuality. So why do we get to see everyone else enjoy themselves sexually and get immense satisfaction from Mr. Kid Cudi?
Sure.
But we don't get to see her enjoy herself at all. We have to cut to fucking stupid boyfriend who, I don't want her to enjoy herself.
Yeah.
And we got to do a Psycho homage. And like I thought that I don't know why we took the focus off the women,
Right.
in that
Right.
sense, versus seeing the male focus, which I thought was kind of a disservice to the film, because there's a whole centerpiece scene where they're just talking about sex positivity and they're talking about being yourself and not being closed off.
Right.
And that happens literally before that scene.
Yeah.
So I don't know why, like it doesn't have to be like a very like gratuitous sex scene like the other scenes were, but I feel like they did a disservice by not focusing on her still and her enjoyment versus Buddy who takes a shower and you assume he's going to get stabbed because he's literally had just talked about Psycho.
Yeah, and he needed to have a little cry about it in the shower, but have
you never had a cry in the shower?
Yeah, I have.
Sometimes.
I see where Dave's coming from.
Yeah.
Where it was just an interesting pivot where everything else was so sex positive, including old people like to fuck too, man.
I get it, man.
Doesn't
Yeah.
matter how
Some-
saggy titty they are.
Sometimes
They want to get it on.
Sometimes you just need a little nookie, and I get it. I get it.
So
The
you're
kid,
right.
the kids left during that part.
Of course they did. Of course.
That's
Old people need love too. Come on now.
That's where that was the limit for them.
that was the limit. There's a whole granny sex category, but no, all right.
That was the limit. That was the limit.
All right.
So, but it's a great film, and I'm looking forward to watching it again. And I'm happy it's doing decently for a A24 indie horror movie.
Yeah,
Definitely.
And it's my favorite Ty West.
fair.
Meh. Well, I'm going to go with an 80s classic, depending on who you are, Shakedown. And it's actually also called Blue Jean Cop.
Where was it called Blue Jean Cop?
Sorry, say that one more time.
Where was it called Blue Jean Cop?
I think Asia.
Asia. Okay.
Asia, yeah.
Blue
Asia,
They
Europe.
can't call it Shakedown there.
Yeah, I have no idea. We
Probably
were
another
watching
movie that was directly translated to Shakedown.
Yeah, exactly. Like me and Dave watched it this week, and we went through like the posters and stuff, and like some posters had Shakedown, other posters had Blue Jean Cop. It for what it is, it's RoboCop and the Marlboro Man team up, and it's like their take on like crooked cops and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like RoboCop's a lawyer, and like fucking Sam Elliott is this like this like undercover vice cop.
RoboCop, you mean Peter Weller?
Peter
You
Weller.
can't say Peter Weller. You
Yeah.
gotta keep
I
saying
gotta keep saying
RoboCop.
RoboCop. I'm so sorry.
Like Peter Weller?
Peter Weller in non-RoboCop attire, obviously. Yeah, it was just sort of meh. The gun battles were good. The tone was all over the place. I didn't know what it wanted to be, whether it wanted to be like a buddy cop movie, like a 48 Hours kind of thing, or like a courtroom drama. It was fucked. And
The
stunts were incredible. There's this one scene with they're on a motorcycle, and it's a motorcycle chase, and like it's like one of those things where Sam Elliott is riding the bike, and then like there's like a side seat, sidecar, and Peter Weller was in that.
Cool.
And he's just going down with like this fucking mega fucking Magnum, just shooting people. It's fucking crazy.
Amazing.
And because it's from the 80s, they didn't mean for it to be translated to HD, so you can tell when the stunt doubles have been employed.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They were anticipating CRTs.
They were not
anticipating.
anticipating HD.
Ridiculous. Like you could tell it was just a guy in a mustache pretending to be Sam
You know
Elliott.
what? I don't even know if it was a guy. I think it was a woman.
Oh fuck.
Amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
it was it was a sight to see. It was just kind of meh. Meh.
That's unfortunate.
Oh well, still enjoyable. I
Middle
still
of the
recommend
road.
it.
It's
Middle
fine.
of the road.
Middle
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
I had fun
It's
with
fine.
it.
As long as you had
Total
fun. That's,
total blast.
I had fun with it.
That works as a great segue into my meh.
Fantastic.
Ambulance.
Our boy Michael Bay.
Michael Bay. I'm giving it a meh only because it's not great.
That's fine.
It's not bad.
That's fine. You didn't call it
It's-
your worst, so Michael Bay.
It is.
Michael Bay will not sick the hounds on you.
It is upper tier Michael Bay. By every definition, it is upper tier. It is like The Rock, then Ambulance, I guess.
Better than Pain and Gain?
Better than
Close to Pain
Bad
and
Boys
Gain.
2.
Okay, fine. The Rock, Bad Boys 2.
All right, there we go.
And then alternating switch between Pain and Gain and Ambulance.
All right. High praise from a non-Michael Bay fan.
I really don't. And you
Not
know
Armageddon, No Love for Armageddon?
Oh, yeah, he did
Or
Armageddon.
or the original Bad
What
Boys?
about Bad Boys 1?
Oh, my God.
The Island.
Come on, James.
Transformers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Those are the bottom. That's bottom tier Michael Bay.
What was the other one that he did? Was it the Benghazi movie?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, 13 Hours.
13 Hours.
That was a great
Yeah.
film.
And he did
It's okay.
Six Underground as well, right?
He also
He also
Six
did Six Underground.
That
No, I
movie
really
was
liked
terrible.
it. I really liked Ambulance. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. It was very Michael Bay. He is a genre unto himself,
Absolutely.
and he can remain that way. And he should be
He is an
considered in
auteur.
every conversation as an auteur.
He is
He
an
is.
Yeah.
There is no question. You can watch any, like, if you lived in a cave, never heard of Michael Bay, I could put it on and go, yeah, that's a Michael Bay film. Like, you know that it is. It has every feature you want it. Two characters talking to each other, trying to convince themselves to do something while the camera spins it furiously around the room.
I love it.
I love
It
it.
was headache-inducing.
How was the drone shots?
Exhilarating.
Yeah.
If you have the chance to see this movie on a big screen, I recommend it because the shots, while random and sometimes you don't always understand why they're there, and it definitely feels like Michael Bay was just like, oh, let's throw in a drone shot. Because the cuts are hard and they are like jarring that you transition to a drone shot. But some of the shit that he did was just like, there's this one bit, and I'm not really spoiling anything, I'm spoiling a shot. It's right after this bank robbery, which again is not a spoiler because if you've seen any trailer for this, you know that there's a bank robbery. And they're coming out of the bank, and it transitions to a drone shot. And the drone is at the top of this old bank building, and it's flying towards it, and it pivots, and it does a 270-degree rotation and drops straight down the building. And I was just like glued to the back of my seat. It was like a fucking roller coaster, man. It was nuts to see.
Amazing.
There's this other bit too where shit happens. They're in a construction yard. Don't ask why. And there's some rubble, and this cop car hits it, and he flies this drone underneath the cop car as it sails over top, and it is nuts. It is fucking psychotic, but it's so cool to look at.
It sounds like a Michael Bay film.
Yeah, it sounds like
it's wild. He discovered drones and just went to 11 with the drones.
Yeah.
Like, I had a great time. It's a bit too long. You feel it at points. There's stuff that needs to be or should have been probably trimmed out. But honestly,
Well, he's a man of excess.
a man of extreme excess. Everything is bright and colorful and explosion-y and loud. And
Are there American flags?
there's American flags. There's cops. There's a veteran.
Do they talk about being patriots?
Naturally, all of it is
set
there.
in Miami.
No, it's in L.A.
Okay.
Hence the L.A. in ambulance being
understand.
capitalized.
All right, relax.
L.A. homie.
All right.
And honestly, for like one of the cheapest movies he's probably ever done at like $40 million,
Yeah. Good for him.
that man delivered on a shoestring budget. I'm proud of what he put in, and like if this is an indication of what he can do next with drones and all this other shit that he's put in, maybe with a $60 million budget and someone who reins him in ever so slightly.
You can't
Do
rein
you
him
think
in. You
Michael
can't.
Bay can be reined in?
Buddy.
On the story, not on the action.
Do you think he
Not on the
cares about
action?
the story?
He did a bit because it's there. There is a good story in there.
Do you think you can rein in Michael Bay?
Buddy,
Probably not. That
he
man
wants to blow shit up. He's gonna blow the shit up.
Yeah. Oh, he can blow up all he wants.
He's been blowing shit up for
He just
for
needed
nearly
to tone
30
down
years.
like the
Yeah.
B plot of this movie that just needed to go. It just was not helpful. Anyway, recommend still. Even at a meh, it's not great. It's not bad. It's good, and it's a fun time. I had a fun time with it.
Fantastic.
So you don't have to shit on me about Michael Bay films now.
Okay.
Oh, we
okay.
still will.
We
Oh,
will.
that's fine.
We
Dave, what's
still
your
will.
meh?
We still will. It was a little film I saw called Sex Appeal, which is about a young lady who
You finally watched that?
I did.
Oh my
It's about a young lady who develops an app for a science. It's like a science fair, but it's for apps, and it's a sex appeal app,
Right.
or they call it Sex Appeal. It's about, since she's never experienced sex, she's kind of like exploring her sexuality and kind of looking for how to. This seems like a theme for me today. And,
Dave's in a
like,
sex positive mood.
and how people can get pleasure, and that's how the app works. And then, the relationships, and there's drama, there's lesbian mothers.
Right.
It's
Your typical millennial rom-com.
It's a lot. And I liked the sex positivity, and I thought it was amusing and charming, but I thought it could have done more, and it could have done... There was parts that could have been a little more original. If you've seen... There's another film with Aubrey Plaza, Tony's girl. Called The To-Do List. And it's very much along those lines. And Lena Dunham made a movie like that earlier this year at Sundance.
Right.
It just seems like it's been done.
Sure.
And I don't know if it's been done better or worse, but
it has been done.
It has been done, and it was enjoyable. And I'd still recommend it as like a rainy day movie where you're with the wife and you need to figure something out to watch that you'll both enjoy, as opposed to something you're going to just enjoy or something she's just going to enjoy.
Sure.
It's that kind of
movie. A couple movie.
It's a
I
couple
like it.
movie.
I like
it's
it.
a couple movie. It'll get you through the day.
I like it.
Yeah.
Tony, what's your worst?
My worst is a little film called Wild Card. Now, you guys are both looking at me being like, what
Sell me on
the fuck is Wild Card? So me and my wife were on a Jason Statham kick, obviously, because he does. He's a pretty handsome man, and he does know how to kick ass.
You're into the white cue ball I'm in.
Yeah, of course. In the British, he's nice.
It's weird when he has hair.
It is weird.
Right?
It is really
when he
weird.
has hair.
Yeah.
Really, really weird. But this random fucking movie, I can't even explain it to you because I don't even know what the plot was. He's a guy in Vegas trying to get money to get out.
As you do.
As you do, right?
Yeah.
He does like odd jobs for money. Gets into gambling, and it's fucked. It was just so bad, so bad, and it gets to a good part where what's his fucking name? His arch rival in this movie is Milo from This Is Us. You know what I'm talking about? Yes.
Ventimiglia?
Yeah, that is the villain in this. And
I can't see him as a villain.
Right? And he has like a thick like Boston or New York accent, and it's fucking it's weird. And it comes to a head. Statham has humiliated him. He comes at him in a diner and everything, and Statham takes a spoon and a butter knife and fights these guys with it. And he ends up putting the spoon right through Milo's chin, like right up there. And that happens 10 minutes to the end.
Oh.
So
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Right?
If you said that happened 10 minutes into the movie, I'd be like, fucking buckle up. What did you hate about this movie? Now I get it. I get it.
Literally, nothing happens until it's an hour and a half, and that scene happens at an hour and 20.
What does he do with the butter knife?
I think he puts it in his ear or something.
Fair.
Or he like kind of like does like an uppercut and puts it both up. I don't know, but he does some pretty fucked up things with that spoon.
I get it.
And like if anyone could do it, it's fucking Jason Statham.
I trust
right?
Jason Statham.
Yeah, but it was just a disappointment. It's probably his worst one that we've watched so far.
That's unfortunate.
And that includes the Transporter trilogy. Don't get me started on those.
Oh, those aren't the worst.
The first one.
I don't think I've seen any of them.
Yeah.
The second one might
like
hit. The second one might hit a little too close to home with COVID and the pandemic and that kind of thing.
First one's fine.
First one's good.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah. What about you, James? What's your worst?
What do you got for us, James?
Let's do it.
Moonfall.
The movie.
Ooh, I saw this one too.
The moon.
That wasn't even good enough to come out in Canada.
Credit where credit's due for Roland Emmerich for just like taking a huge swing on a absolutely bonkers premise. And I said to you two, because I saw it before you two did, and I said I could have given 30 guesses, and there is no way you would have been able to tell me why that moon actually fell. Because there is nobody that could predict the absolute insanity that is that plot.
Yeah.
It is bananas.
Yeah.
So kudos to Roland Emmerich for taking a huge swing like that and also self-financing that movie and like going out and getting the cash for that movie to exist.
I feel like that's the bigger swing than
Yeah.
him making the movie.
Oh, yeah.
It seemed
He had
par
an
for the course
idea,
for Roland Emmerich.
And he went and got the money for it. Good
He was
for
like,
him getting
how
that
am I
money.
going to destroy the Earth at this time?
Yeah. Yeah. The moon had to fall. You know, and it delivers on its title.
It
True,
does.
the moon does.
The
fall.
moon does fall.
The moon does fall.
So if you had any reservations, you thought it was going to be like a bait and switch or some other shit. No.
No.
The moon falls.
The moon falls.
The reason why it falls is insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And
Yeah.
the dialogue is
the
just
cover up
fucking
and
they
awful.
like
Donald Sutherland showing up for what? Like
for a scene in a
for
wheelchair.
a bit, and he's
Yeah.
like, "All right, I'm gonna leave now."
gonna
Okay,
see
you
thanks,
later.
Don.
I
Thanks,
got
Donnie.
my one bullet. I'm gonna go off myself for hiding the secret of the moon for 40. For like
How many
60
how many
years?
times do we need to see a moon secret? Like they did the or Michael
Yeah,
Bay's
yeah, yeah.
Transformers.
Transformers,
movie. Like,
yeah,
how many,
yeah.
like it's the moon for Christ's sake. Come on.
Hey man. Hey, there's a whole subset of people out there that believe the moon is hollow.
Oh,
That's
for God's
hollow moon
that movie
theory.
was just so bad. Like like what you said about the dialogue. I just,
Yeah.
how is this real life? No real person talks like that. And don't get me started on Patrick Wilson, because like he was fucking awful, fucking awful, man.
They did Halle Berry dirty too. She's an
Yeah.
Oscar
Yeah.
winner. Show some respect.
yeah.
Also,
The moon is gonna help us.
Right?
Also, that car chase that looked like a
Oh my
PS2
God.
game.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh my God.
What
Like-
was that?
Oh
Like,
fuck.
Roland spent all of that money on getting that moon to fall into Earth, and he had nothing left over
What
for a
was
car chase. 'cause
that?
That
And
was
there's so many fucking characters. I
Oh.
get it. He did that in Independence Day, but you care about all of those characters.
I don't give a fuck about anybody
You
in
don't
this
give a
No,
movie.
fuck
no,
about anybody.
seriously.
And plus, Independence Day takes place over 3 days. 3 days. They make it very
Yeah.
clear. This is July 2nd. This is July 3rd. This is July 4th.
Right.
How many fucking days happen in this movie?
I
How
don't
many
know.
weeks? How long?
Months.
What?
That moon
How
fell.
Like
Yeah.
it takes NASA how long to put the spaceships in space?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they,
yeah.
they did it in like what, a day?
What the hell with the moon?
Oh yeah, because the gravity change.
they
Fuck.
lost engines and
It's
had to
coming
use
back.
the
It's
moon
coming
to
back
get
now.
on.
Oh my
So
god!
great.
What the
And that
fuck?
one guy who's just standing looking at the water as it rushes it.
That is the perfect example of they write themselves into a corner, and it's like, how the hell did we get out of here?
Yeah.
With one line of dialogue.
Yeah.
Like I know
Yeah.
that the pandemic has taught us that all those movies where we're just laughing at people for being jackasses and idiots who don't believe,
Yeah.
like we look at them a little differently now
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
know
yeah.
they all exist. And it's like you're watching this and Tony's saying, "Oh, people don't talk like that." Well, some people do. Some people do.
It was.
Also, that goofy bit with like the gas the masks. Oh my god! There's just so much. Like
There's just
I
so
feel like I
much.
could write an entire thesis on
There's
like
so
why this
much.
movie is terrible.
There's so much.
But people were up in arms that it didn't come out in Canada in theaters, and I think they did us a favor.
They did us
Yeah.
a solid.
I think
Yeah,
they did us
did
a
it.
solid.
This was a solid watch at home streaming service.
What the
exactly?
hell?
This did not need a theater
Oh.
at all.
Oh,
Yuck. And I don't want to spoil it, but the end, like the very end, like before the credits start, what the hell was that?
Are you a part of the moon now?
Oh my god, what the fuck was that?
it's just coming back to me right
Oh
now.
my god.
And still,
Moonfall 2.
even saying that one line
Electric Boogaloo.
gives you nothing, nothing for what this like. If
Garbage.
you want to spend a couple hours watching something that is
Yeah, a couple hours, fucking long.
absolutely bananas from start to finish, but you just need to turn your brain off for a while. You had a hard day at work. You're looking to just like unplug, throw it on, and just be prepared for just whatever nonsense comes your way.
Like
But
it was so long.
Yeah.
I feel like I was like, okay, it's wrapping itself
No.
up, and there was still like another hour.
yeah, still got to deal with all the people on Earth. We got to
Oh
deal with the
my
guy in the bunker
God.
going, "I believe in my wife."
Oh my god. What the
I was
hell?
cackling through it. It was incredible.
It wasn't even his wife, his ex-wife.
Yeah, sorry, I believe my ex-wife. Whatever.
Yeah.
the
Who
fuck.
believes in their ex-wife?
I don't
really.
know.
This fucking Patrick
guy.
Wilson,
fucking
man.
guy. That wasn't even Patrick
That was
Wilson.
that was the army guy that was in the bunker. He was gonna launch the nukes, and he decided.
We're having too much fun
Anyway.
talking about this piece of crap.
Anyway.
Here's another
Dave.
piece of crap for you that I've never seen before, but we put it on to entertain my son, and it was actually worse than I thought it would be. The Cat in the Hat.
Good lord.
With Mike Myers.
Yeah, that was it.
She bad. She
Oh,
real
she
bad.
bad.
Like, I feel like since the film came out, the estate of Dr. Seuss says they made it in the contracts for the rights to the books that you can no longer make live action films based on Dr. Seuss works.
Yeah.
And this is the movie that did it.
Yeah.
Because it is dog shit.
Yeah.
It is so bad. Like, this movie, it looks incredible. The production design and art direction is out of this world. Like, you guys have seen The Grinch.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah,
with Jim
of course.
Carrey.
Yeah.
And Lusty, what's her name?
Cindy Lou Who.
Yeah. No, that's
Oh, no.
Cindy Lou Who. Cindy Lou Who's not Lusty in that movie.
Jesus.
Oh
Whoops.
my God. What is
It's
her name?
fucking Ski. Her last name is
Baranski.
Baranski.
Christine Baranski.
There you go.
And how she wants to fuck the Grinch.
Oh, yes.
Totally
Yes.
does.
Okay, that's
Totally
who
does.
we're talking about.
There's
I'm
definitely
talking about Cindy Lou Who, you sick fuck. Anyways, like, you've
Right.
seen what that movie looked like, right? And how incredible.
Incredible.
That movie, like,
Yeah.
it looks so good. In this film, it's outstanding what they do and how they bring the world of Dr. Seuss to life.
Right.
And how it looks. And the Cat in the Hat looks great. And then Mike Myers opens his mouth and you're like, oh. And it just gets worse and worse
Oh, no.
and worse. And there's a part where Paris Hilton's dancing and
Oh,
winking
no.
Oh,
the camera.
God.
And like Alec Baldwin's in it and
Oh, no.
Dakota Fanning. and
What
just-
the fuck is this movie?
Oh, and what's his name from Will and Grace has a dual role. Sean.
Isn't it Hater?
It's not Sean Hader. What is his name?
Hayes?
Not Hayes. James, what is the gentleman's name from Will and Grace?
I'm looking. This is very important information.
Very important
Very
information,
important.
guys.
I think you actually might be right. I think it's Sean Hayes.
It might be Sean Hayes, I think. I know it starts with an H.
Sean Hayes.
Sean Hayes.
Well done. Thank you. Should have put money on that one.
Should have.
And he has a dual role, and he's like a real estate mogul who is a germaphobe. So there's a lot of sanitizer in the movie. I was like, well, that seems oddly prophetic. And then he's also the voice of the fish,
Oh.
which doesn't have a voice until halfway through the movie because he suddenly goes from fish to CGI fish.
Oh. Because of whatever the Cat in the Hat does?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's just
No.
no bueno. Like,
Sounds
it looks
fucking
great.
weird,
It
to
looks
be
great.
honest with
Like,
you.
you need to just put it on mute and just like
Right.
Like, I saw a thing on YouTube and it was like sped up to 200%.
Yeah.
And it slows down just for the Cat in the Hat to say, "Oh yeah." He's like, "Oh yeah," except he does it like Mike Myers, so it sounds worse than that.
Sure.
And the clip's like 6 minutes long, and it's at 200%.
Good lord.
Like, it just stops dead so he can say that.
Yeah.
And
And
the clip
keeps
is like
going.
6 minutes long.
My God.
Wonderful.
It is a travesty, and I feel like Dr. Seuss, Theodore Giselle. I feel like is that his name, Theodore Giselle? Well, you know what? You don't need to look it up.
He rolled over in his grave.
I feel like he rolled over in his grave
Yeah.
when I watched it. I can't
Oh,
imagine
no.
what he did in 2003 when it came out.
He's doing somersault, tell me.
Yeah, somersaults.
Jesus.
Like, he dug himself halfway to China.
Jesus.
Like, you know what?
Wow.
Not even halfway. The whole way to China.
Wow.
Like, so bad. And speaking of so bad,
Ooh, what? We got a bonus one?
we have a bonus one just because the three of us all watched it within the last week. Judd Apatow's The Bubble.
Oh my god.
Holy shit, boys.
Wow.
This deserves its own
Yeah.
little speech because what in God's good name was I chortled 3 times. I counted 3.
It got me one.
I was so bored.
Yeah.
What the hell?
So incredibly bored. But there's something. So Tony just watched it and he put it up on Letterboxd, and I saw his star rating.
The fuck's wrong with you?
Here's my hypothesis before I throw it over to Tony. I want to know if my hypothesis is right. You and I watched it as people who watch movies. We fucking hated it. It was fucking awful. There was nothing funny about any bit of it. There's 2 TikTok dances in there for some fucked up fucking reason.
Celebrities have a hard time too.
Fuck that. Tony watches it from a perspective of being in the film industry. And he gets a 2-star. And I think, and I might be wrong, but I think it's because he's in the film industry. We'll get back to that, but am I right? Like, did you like it more because, like, it resonated with, like, your own kind of experiences going through the pandemic of, like, shit shutting down, ridiculous COVID practices, blah, 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 blah?
Honestly, guys, working in the film industry and watching that movie through a film industry's lens, that's why I loved it. Because I was just like, things shutting down, that's just a Tuesday in my world.
Let's not use the word love when it comes to
let's not throw love. You loved it.
You said you loved it.
Let's not throw love around.
Sorry.
Here.
Okay, no,
also,
I did.
If you're loving it and you give it 2 stars, jeez.
I enjoyed it. Okay. I found humor in it. Don't get me wrong; it was still fucking horrendous and awful, but I enjoyed it for that reason.
Which begs the question then: if you're going to make a movie like this, push it wide and market it and all of this, and you do your fucking fake out marketing and all of this fucking nonsense. You drop it on April Fool's Day and everything else. Who is your audience then? If your audience is niche to be Tony and his ilk of film industry workers, why does this movie exist? Like, why are you pushing this wide on Netflix? This is something that you would just drop or, like, share amongst your friends. This isn't fucking something for the general public. Nobody else can connect with this.
It's true.
It was just fucking, you're just watching, like, fucking rich, whiny babies have to, like, make a movie. Okay, great. It was tough. Guess what? It was tough for fucking everybody. None of this is funny. Like,
yeah. No, I get it.
It's one of those movies that I feel is the encapsulation of why the pandemic's not funny.
Yeah.
There's nothing funny. You can't mine the pandemic for material anymore because it was hard for all of us. We all went through it.
Yeah.
We don't need to relive it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever.
And I think it's coming out way too late, honestly.
Way too late.
Way too late. Like, if it came out in the early stages of 2021, or even in any stage of 2021, if it came out there, it kind of would have hit a little bit better. Now that we're kind of on like the tail end of the pandemic, wherever your opinion lies.
Sure.
We're
in a different spot now than we were a year ago, 2 years ago.
We're on pandemic film 3.
Yes, exactly.
We're at the trilogy capper, and we're hoping that they don't make it into a saga.
Exactly. Yeah. But it's coming way too late. Like the TikTok, you guys are saying the TikTok dances. I thought they were funny, but I don't know why they're there. Yeah. I also don't understand the tone of the movie. Is it a mockumentary? Is it a fucking narrative?
It's supposed to be a satirical piece, parodying the production of the new Jurassic World movie I read. So everyone's kind of an amalgamation of different people.
Okay. Right.
Okay. Sundance Boy is Colin Trevorrow.
Obviously. Yeah. Okay, now that you say that, everything starts to be like, it starts to make sense.
But you have to know that.
Exactly. Exactly.
It's not expressly.
Judd Apatow just made a movie to share to his buddies and people of the film industry.
If you don't know that?
Yeah.
I had no idea.
I had no idea.
I did
no fucking idea.
It still doesn't make it better.
No, it
makes
doesn't.
It worse.
Yeah.
Like,
I don't understand
my boy
any of
D.
it.
Cove is terrible in this movie. Terrible.
The only things that I can say is, God bless Pedro Pascal and Karen Gillan for just giving it.
Yeah,
like actually committing to everything. Even though that movie is fucking dog shit.
It's so
They
bad.
Gave it their all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
unbelievably bad.
So bad. Leslie Mann gets her hand shut off for some fucking reason,
That
and
was
it's
so
just like,
fucking stupid.
like, what is happening?
It's just
Other dude fucking runs off.
it's
Yeah,
just
like-
bad. The CGI is quite good.
Yeah,
Let's give it credit where
Yeah.
credit's due. The CGI looks good.
yeah, sure.
That's all. That's
it.
all I got. That's all I got.
That's it.
That's all I got.
What about
It's
Fred
just-
Armisen? Fred Armisen was enjoyable.
See, this is why you thought Whip It had Oscar buzz.
Yeah.
You know what, man? I read a fucking article. I took it out of context, and I've been fucking paying for it for the past 10 years. Move the fuck on, Dave.
No.
Then you know what?
Here, I'll just
Then
do.
you know what?
I'll do the Rorschach.
All right.
and I'll whisper. No.
Okay. If you're not going to stop, I am forever going to be referred to as Vengeance.
No, I don't think that's an equal trade. Either way, real bad.
Real bad.
Waste of Pedro Pascal, who's incredible in Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which I can't wait to talk to you both about. I don't want to
can't wait
talk
to
about it
see
because I
it.
don't want to waste
Just,
it on you.
just swan dive into a wall right now.
Yeah.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Anyways, The Bubble. Don't watch it. We
Fuck
watched
no.
it for you. For God's sake,
No.
just
It comes up on your trending, whatever the fuck.
say no.
Don't
Delete it.
do it,
Say
guys.
no.
Don't
Put
add
your
it to your
thumb
watch
down.
list.
Put your thumb down.
Don't
Go
do
watch
it.
Also, Bridgerton.
He
I don't know.
needs a
Yes.
goddamn editor. Holy shit.
That man cannot close. He is the worst closer in Hollywood.
I was like, I can't close,
Yeah.
and I can close better than Judd Apatow can.
Most people
Seriously.
can. It is a severely low bar to just.
Holy
That movie could have
Step
been
over.
90 fucking minutes in and out. Let's
Yeah.
go.
That movie could have been an email, Tony.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Or it could have been like a series of short sketches.
It could have been. It could have been a BuzzFeed listicle of memes. It would have been fine.
All of these things. It's not even his longest movie, and it
No, it's
feels
not.
like
It was
it's
so
like
short.
4 hours long. So
feels like
it's
it's-
over 2 hours.
Okay,
Calm
by
down.
Judd Apatow standards here, come on. Let's go. Fucking Funny People was 2.5 hours.
Oh my god! So funny. I saw that in theaters.
Yeah.
Oh
You poor boy.
God. Oh.
Let's keep the hate train rolling. At least partially. Into our main segment because this is Dr. Michael Morbius.
In Morbius.
Morbius.
Did he just say fucking vengeance again, or did he say Venom?
I was going to say it's actually a misunderstood classic in the making.
A misunderstood Did we watch the same movie?
I'm just
I'm
kidding.
going
It was
to
dog
stick
shit.
your head in the fridge, and I'm just gonna keep slamming it.
Literally, my first note after seeing that movie is why.
You made notes?
After.
What the fuck did you need notes for?
I made a pros and cons list.
You have a pros and cons list?
I have points.
Holy shit!
I got shit I want to talk about.
I literally like.
You got nothing? Nothing. Dave's got nothing. Morbius left Dave speechless. That is a resounding recommend from Dave.
Like
Everybody go
what
see this movie right now.
hell was that? What in God's... You had 2 years, more than 2 years, to fucking fix that movie. We talked about fixing movies the one
Right,
time.
yeah.
We had more than 2 years to
More
fix
than
it, and they
2
made it worse.
Oh my god.
How do you make a movie worse?
You know, it was nice to actually be sitting in the theater watching Morbius because I didn't think that movie was ever coming out.
That's fair.
It was pushed, what, 7 times?
But 7 or 8 times. Yeah. It was
Now
a
we know
walking
why.
budget.
Lord.
Now we know why.
Do we know why?
Why?
I would have just gotten it out and just fucking moved on.
Dropped it on a streaming service. Fucking
What
why waste everybody's
was
time?
It's
that?
very true. It's very true. I don't know why this wasn't on Disney Plus or fucking.
Well, it's a Sony film.
Well, it's a Sony
So on
film, but it's
Netflix.
still on Netflix.
Yes, it
but
should
they're
have
not
gone
going
to
to drop a Marvel movie on Netflix.
It's not a proper. It's not MCU.
Okay,
It
okay.
might be masquerading as MCU
Okay,
Marvel,
okay,
but
it's
it is
trying.
not
It's
MCU
trying.
Marvel.
That-
all right.
It reminded me of like early 2000s comic book movies. It reminded me of your Daredevil or
Fantastic
I
Four.
didn't hate Daredevil.
I don't hate it.
I
I, just
didn't
meant
hate
in terms of
Daredevil.
the style of story that it was.
That's fair.
It doesn't feel like we've gone through a lot of transition with what comic book movies are now, and not to say that I need to expect a certain product when I go see a comic book movie because that's ridiculous. I don't. But to go in and watch it and go, I feel like I've seen this movie 20 years ago. Like,
It felt like that.
and it wasn't an homage to comic book movies 20 years ago. It just was.
Yeah.
Would you like me to ring the spoiler bell?
Ring that fucking bell,
let's
bro.
just do it. I mean, yeah, go.
Wii U, Wii U, Wii U, Wii U, Wii U. Please don't go see Morbius.
Yeah, don't.
This is another one that we took the bullet for you.
Yeah, we
Or the
really, and,
vampire teeth for you.
I put like I was. It was just so boring.
I didn't care at all.
I
Did
wasn't-
not care.
You know what? I wasn't bored.
I was bored to I walked in, I watched the first 20 minutes or whatever of it, and I went, okay, I know exactly how this movie's exactly going to play out. Right down the line, I could tell you every single point. None of it was a surprise. Nothing was new. I was bored to shit.
Nothing was new.
No.
Nothing new. And just... Also, he calls Matt Smith's character Milo, even though his name is what? Francois?
Lucien.
Lucien. And then everyone calls him Milo later. Like,
He's just Milo now.
Man,
Yeah.
my name's Lucian. Come on.
Did his fucking name change? Did he get a name change halfway
What
through?
the hell? And like, there's no mention of money. Like, obviously, they're all like bougie kids with weird.
Oh yeah, private British hospital
with
rich.
private British hospital money, but like, they don't really allude to how they have all the money.
Right.
It's just like they have money, and somehow
Yeah.
Michael Morbius needs a benefactor, even though he also clearly had the money.
But yeah, and Lucien is his benefactor. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm sorry, is Lucien richer than Morbius is?
From the sounds of it.
He's obviously rich enough that he doesn't care that he changed his name to fucking Milo.
Yeah, and he doesn't have a last name.
Yeah.
He's just
No.
Milo and or Lucien. There's
Yeah.
no. He's like fucking Seal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like
Madonna, Prince.
Cher.
See, I think Matt Smith's character was a lot more interesting than Morbius's character.
100%, but I think it's only because Matt Smith knew what kind of fucking movie he was
Oh,
in.
for sure. He definitely knew.
Would Cher's last name have been Bono for a bit? Or Bono? Because she was married to Sonny Bono.
Are we
Sonny
still
Bono,
on this?
right?
But she never
Cher
went by
Bono?
that. It was always just Cher Bono. It never was. But yeah, I love that. I love that a lot.
And I feel we need to find out, like, we don't need to find out the answer now, but I feel like the time we will waste finding out that answer is a better use of our time than seeing Morbius ever again.
Yeah, ever
Or even the
again.
first time.
Ever
even the
again.
first. I wanted to invent a time machine so we don't have to watch it.
Unwatch
ever.
it?
To
Yeah.
unwatch this movie.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yeah.
But yes, to your point, Matt Smith was a better character.
He was just so much.
yeah.
He was just so much better, and he like you said, James. He knew exactly what movie he was in. Jared Leto, I just think it's his shtick now, where he doesn't act like the movie, like the character who should be in the movie that he's in.
Yeah.
He's acting in a different film.
Always.
And I feel like Mads Mikkelsen's comments this week about method acting being bullshit. I think he's talking about Jared Leto.
Oh, for sure, he is.
100%.
For
I think he's
sure.
talking
Man, I had
smack
to use
about
his fucking
Jared
crutches
Leto.
to. Oh, I gotta go to the washroom. I'm gonna keep using my. What the fuck are you doing? Like, even the director was like, "Oh, it wasn't too big of an issue, but it did slow everything down." Yeah, because he's fucking using crutches when he's an able-bodied person. You don't need the crutches, buddy. Go take a piss and come back. This movie's got a motor, man.
Just so.
Now you know why it took 2 years to get this movie out the door.
Good. Going back to that.
You know what's hilarious? They filmed this movie and it was in the can and it was ready to go before they filmed the new Venom film and before they filmed the new Spider-Man movie. Before
Right.
they even filmed them, this movie
This was
done.
Yeah, done.
That's embarrassing.
That's bad.
And like for the run, what for the actors that you get for this? What a fucking waste of Jared Harris. Why was he there?
Yeah.
It could have been anybody. Why do we need Jared Harris?
That's fair. That is.
You drag Jared Harris out, fucking one of the better actors that's out there to play this doctor who's in the movie for what, 7 minutes? Before he dies like a chump?
Spread out 7 minutes, obviously.
Yeah.
And like, he worked for the hospital and then suddenly he's working just for Mila.
Lucian?
And like, where does he go? He doesn't live there. He just like comes and goes as he pleases. What's he doing?
Where are all those other hospital kids? Did they all die? Is that the implication?
What happened to the girl
Oh my God.
that he put in the
What happened
coma?
to the coma girl?
Oh yeah. She literally just fucking disappeared.
In the middle of this movie, this girl who's also suffering from the same type of blood disorder that he is, and that's what he's dedicated his life to. Good for him. Blah, 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 blah. Round of applause for Michael Morbius. She takes a turn for the worse. The only way to save her, put her in a coma, and that's the last we hear of her. There is no mention of her ever again.
He's sitting
she's
with
still
her
in a
at one
coma.
point. At one point, he is sitting with her.
He was sitting with her, and then
But he's also wanted for murder at that point.
Right.
And nobody seems to notice that he's
Nope.
sitting next to a minor.
he's sitting. He's
had
in
his hoodie
the
on.
hospital.
He had his cloak of hoodie on.
He's sitting in the hospital. Maybe he just sit in his lab because he keeps going back there until he realizes, oh, maybe this is a bad decision.
So, speaking of this hospital scene where after he's gotten his powers and he's figuring it out and
His powers of being a vampire
I guess
for like 6 hours, and then suddenly he's
yeah.
back to it, and then he needs blood to survive. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And he's running away from the cops because he did murder an entire ship's crew of people.
But they said they don't care because they're all mercenaries.
They're all mercenaries.
They were
Nobody's
just
gonna
vaguely
care about
on
it.
his trail at that point until the nurse died and Lucian killed the nurse.
Also, that hallway
Yeah.
horror scene.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
I get it that it's a horror scene and it's supposed to be kind of
Sure.
like suspenseful, but like practicality.
Yeah,
Who works in a building like
Yeah.
that where it's just like what?
Yeah.
Like it's like a 9 by 9 square of light, and
Yeah.
then once
darkness
you
on either side. Yeah,
darkness.
pure darkness.
Like,
there's
what
nothing
was she
else-
doing on
what,
a normal day? Was she like, oh yeah, this is fine?
What hallway of the hospital are you in? Is there not patients down there? Are you in the morgue? Where are
She
you?
had to run to the other side of the
to hit
hallway
the light.
to hit the light.
Yeah. And she still died. Oh my God. Anyway, so he gets framed for this thing and he absconds to the roof. He has a little, what I will best describe as a PCP trip. And all of a sudden, Tyrese, who has been sleeping through the entire movie.
Why the fuck is Tyrese in this movie?
Why is he
I want to
asleep?
know.
Why is he
wanna
asleep
know.
through the whole thing? I
he
don't know
doesn't
that
know why
he
he's
did he even
casted.
open his eyes.
He was like, I'm supposed to be doing fucking car movies right now. What the fuck is this shit?
He's all of a sudden Tyrese is directly behind him. He was nowhere near.
He like
Michael
took the
Morbius
stairs.
flew up to the roof in like 30 seconds tops, and it was like 20 floors. And Tyrese is suddenly behind. He didn't take the elevator. How the fuck did he get there?
He
How long was this
evaporated up there?
PCP trip that he had at the edge of the roof?
he just
fuck.
we don't know that he didn't fly there, James. Maybe he flew too.
Maybe
Is he a
Tyrese
vampire?
has some powers too. We don't know.
Yeah, we don't know.
He is he is Agent Simon Stroud. Does any comic book nerd want to correct us? Maybe there's like an origin story for Simon Stroud.
I doubt it.
Never know.
I want to say that some of these are plot holes, but I don't feel there's so much plot holes as much as they are. They just cut that scene.
They just
and
cut
they're
it.
Like,
They probably just
maybe we don't need this.
nah.
Maybe we don't need this.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need this.
Yeah, just cut it. You don't need it. Girl in a coma? Fuck it. Don't worry about it.
Fuck it. No one's gonna care, right?
Like there's a line in As Good as It Gets about reason and accountability.
Right.
And I feel like neither of those things are in this film.
Yeah, they just threw
It's
him out the
just-
window.
It's just so bad.
Yeah. Can someone explain to me how he flies? No,
No.
because I don't.
I got nothing.
So he
He doesn't have wings like a bat. He just kind of
He floats on
He
air
like
currents.
glides
he
or
glides.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, he kind of floats on air currents. But what doesn't make any
Like
sense to me
that
is
game you liked for Sony. Infamous?
Wasn't it Prototype?
Prototype.
Wasn't that the same game?
Same
Kinda
game, same
similar-
game, kind
similar
of
But
thing.
idea.
they just kind of
float.
Yeah, yeah. Well, in Infamous, he uses like electric current and like guides himself,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
At least that one's kind of granted. This
See,
one,
these are video games and they have more logic
right?
Yeah.
than
The
It's
first
true.
time he
A
figures
motion
out that he
picture.
can fly is in the subway station. He's down there and he's like, "Oh shit! I think I figured something out with my bat sense that I can fly."
Is that I've been to New York twice. I've never seen a subway station that looks like that.
Pristine.
Yeah, there's nobody homeless there.
No.
It's like way down in
the
the
cleanest
depths.
subway station ever
Like
made.
there's nobody there. What?
He senses these like air currents coming from a subway that's coming into the terminal, and he realizes he could ride in front of the. How? The subway is not a fan. It is not pushing air
It's a
currents
train,
in front
James.
of
It's not
it.
a subway. It's a train.
A train.
It's
Sorry,
subway
the-
train.
The train is not a fan. It is not pushing current in front of it. If he rode the back of it, I'd understand. There's a wake. There is air. There is a wave to ride, so to speak. What? The front? What is this? Are his feet on the? Is it pushing? I don't understand how this is happening at all. And don't even get me started about the fucking smoke that he leaves behind him and the color choice of the smoke. What decides the color choice? At the end, he's wearing a jacket with a purple inside, so his smoke is purple. What? Does the smoke know that the inside of his coat is purple?
The smoke knows. The smoke knows.
What?
The smoke knows. Also, they're on his trail and he keeps saying it's not him.
Oh, yes.
And then they're shocked to find out there's another one because, he didn't think to get rid of the camera footage.
Right. Lucien, you fucking idiot.
Dipshit.
Amateur move.
Right, and in full view of the camera
apparently it's
with
amateur.
a light.
Apparently it's amateur
Yeah.
hour.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So, what?
Yeah.
No. Go
Sorry.
ahead.
One more. So Mr. Homie G overhears these guys talking about a lab and follows them with jingling keys. Okay, cool. You can show off your powers, whatever. This is fine. There is a full lab that has enough medical grade equipment to make counterfeit money in the middle of a warehouse that's been abandoned for 58 years. What? Who are these criminals, and why didn't they send like 28,000 more people in there after the? That's expensive ass equipment. This is one guy with teeth.
As that guy on YouTube said, barely an inconvenience.
Barely an
inconvenience.
Seriously. But honestly, when we all saw it together, during the pre-show, we saw an interview with the director, and the director said, point blank in the interview, I wanted to make a movie that my 12-year-old self would appreciate. And after I heard that, I was like, you know what? All right. He's saying that. I get through the movie, and I was like, yeah, definitely. This was a movie made for 12-year-olds. You want to know why? Because they're too fucking stupid to realize everything else going on.
Sure.
They're going to be blinded by the cool fucking pink smoke, or purple smoke, I should say.
Cool?
I mean,
You're a 12-year-old. What do you think?
Well, I couldn't see the big fight scene at the end. It was just
darkness, and it was just cut to shit. But like, you're a 12-year-old. You're like, oh yeah, shit. Like, it's all fucking cool.
It looks so bad.
It looked pretty bad.
Considering the special effects in the movie don't look half bad. Like when like the transition parts
Not
when
bad.
they're going from like the monster face thing to not monster face thing
to just normal Jared
just
Leto
normal-
creepy face.
Yeah. When they keep doing those transitions because they're all in camera type
Right.
thing, and it's like, cool. Yeah, this like I can see like good job with the money, good job with the makeup.
Sure.
You guys did good.
Yep.
And then we get smoke monster fucking I don't they somehow land in a sub
I don't understand the transition from the roof to the subway, but let's talk about that last fight scene for a second.
Yeah.
So they're in the subway, they transition down to the subway, they're having their big final battle or whatever, and Jared Leto is about to be decimated by Lucien. And he realizes Milo. And he realizes that he can summon bats. Cool.
I feel like that's the only reason people are comparing it to Batman. They're like, it's more like Batman than an MCU movie. It's like,
Hold that thought.
Okay.
He can summon bats. He figures out that he can summon bats. I'm sorry. So he can summon bats, but Milo, with the exact same set of powers and the exact same set of things, has no control over these bats?
Maybe he hasn't figured
And
that
they
out
can
about his power
pummel
yet.
him into the ground?
Maybe he hadn't figured that out yet. He was
No,
pretty.
but
He
look,
did
look,
seem
look,
pretty
wait,
new
wait,
with
wait,
his
wait.
Either way, if
powers.
he didn't figure it out or not, the bats knew, Tony.
The bats figured it out.
The
The
bats
bats
figured it
recognized that Jared Leto, Morbius, was one of their own,
Yeah.
but not Mr. fucking other bat person.
Maybe it was a pheromone thing. Who knows? I'm just
Both guys.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, like I'm just trying to help out.
The Batman thing. There's that moment towards the beginning, and I'm backing up a bit here, but to get back to this Batman thing that also was just like so blatant. There's that moment where he steps into his hundreds of vampire bats that he brought back home in his little weird funnel.
Yeah.
And he steps in and the light is there and the music crescendos. And tell me that is not the exact same fucking score from Batman.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, you're right.
From the Nolan Batman, I should say.
It's almost the exact same
It's-
shot.
No, I think it actually is. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same
It's
shot.
definitely
and
the
it's
same shot.
almost it's not the exact same score, but it is the exact same notes played in the exact same order, just done by a different guy who just fucking lifted something else.
Exactly.
Did you think I was going to forget that I was watching fucking Morbius for a moment? Because I didn't fucking forget.
Oh, man. I also want to point out, sorry, one more time.
Yeah.
I was a little aggressive about 12-year-olds being stupid. They're not stupid. They're smart, but they're not going to clue in to things that we would clue into, like the major plot holes, and it's like dangling keys in front of it.
Maybe not 12. Maybe he meant to say, I made this for 8-year-olds.
It's true.
8-year-olds do.
8-year-olds, dude.
I really feel like even 8-year-olds would understand how bad this movie is.
It's not fun.
No, it's not.
It's nothing. It's
It's a product. That's what it is.
film.
It is.
Before Tony, I want to hear your pros and cons list. You told me you have a pros and cons list. Hit me with the pros and cons. I want to hear what the pros
are.
Give me some pros.
Okay, so my first pro is the first 20 minutes were promising, and I really dug the horror undertones because it was something new, right? You don't really see.
Sure.
Let me talk, Dave, before you give me the face. You don't see horror in the MCU, and you don't see anything horror-ish related to Marvel.
Okay.
You're looking at me. Why are you disagreeing with me?
Keep going.
Keep going.
No.
No.
I want to hear the
please,
list.
please,
I want to hear the list.
Go.
Okay. The next one is Matt fucking Smith, for obvious reasons.
Fair.
Yep.
Fair. Okay. The villain's motivations were refreshing. Didn't want to enslave the human race. He just wanted to live his life differently than he had before.
I love that's our barometer. Is like they didn't want to destroy humanity. That is the barometer for refreshing in a comic book movie.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
I'm sorry. His motivations were simple.
You're not wrong.
You're not wrong. I'm just saying that how fucking
problem.
ridiculous it is that that is considered refreshing.
Yeah.
Okay. And I said that it is the closest thing to a horror movie from the MCU, and this is not including Moon Knight, because I haven't seen Moon Knight, and I haven't seen the new Doctor Strange. But it is stepping towards horror.
It's not an actual MCU. It's
MCU
adjacent.
But like it's.
I get what you're saying. I sincerely doubt Doctor Strange is a horror movie.
Yeah.
Yes, where you're coming from a side of like the current slate of comic book movies as they're coming out now, Marvel Cinematic Universe,
Yeah.
DC Extended Universe. Yes.
There's no horror
Yes.
in there.
Fine.
And I feel like Morbius is a step in that. They did it pretty shittily, obviously, but there were some horror overtones in there, and I dug it the first 20 minutes.
Sure.
And
only if we're looking at a very subset of comic book movies from 2008 to 2022.
Absolutely.
And nothing from before 2008, because then we run the risk of actually finding
actual horror movies.
Full-blown horror movies.
Full-blown, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Batman was pretty horrific.
It was?
Yeah. It was, yeah.
And you already went through your cons.
Any of it we missed?
Anything you missed?
Making a solo movie about a villain that no one actually cares about.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yep.
That's fair. We can address that in a few minutes.
Oh, and the romantic subplot was out of place.
Oh yeah, there's like zero chemistry between them.
I don't know why the fuck that was.
Related to that, I wrote Chekhov's mouse that died briefly.
I just like she's just like he has more chemistry with Al Pacino and House of Gucci than he does with this girl.
Right.
This woman. Like
right.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Do we need a love story? Did it need to happen?
Right.
No.
And what the fuck was that ending? She's just a fucking vampire
Now she's
now?
a vampire.
What? Morbius too? They're just gonna go out on a vampire spree?
Oh no, she's the villain now.
Oh no!
Oh no!
2 vampires, 2 Morbius.
Yeah.
And she, where the fuck? She wasn't in the same spot that she was left in. Where did she go?
Yeah, seriously.
I don't know. Her vampire.
I knew
persona
she
took
was going to
over.
be alive still, but I was like, I thought they would do a little better than that.
It was so poor. It was so poor. And like my last con that we haven't mentioned yet is I feel like this movie was only made to push the Spider-Man adjacent universe
And
along.
we're there.
And we're there. I don't know. That's twice that Sony's tried to push the Sinister Six, and twice it's been bad.
Yep.
It's been so ham-fisted and so forced and just inorganic. I don't want to say that Marvel did it right, because there's a lot of things that Marvel did wrong, and
sure.
they've kind of ruined it for everybody else. But I feel like it wasn't as blatant as, oh, we're going to create the Sinister Six twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop. Like, at least this movie didn't stop dead to do it like it
Yeah,
did last time.
It left it all the way to the end, but
Like,
what a big oof of a mid-credit scenes.
Yeah.
Just so bad. And okay,
and it does. They don't make sense.
No.
neither of them make any sense. Neither of them needed to happen, and they're so badly executed that it's just like, why are they even... Look, we just went over the fact that this movie was done, finished, prior to Venom 2 and Spider-Man. And I'm sure they had some idea of what those mid-credit scenes were going to be, or maybe they were done 2 fucking years ago. And I understand that things happen. But if things change to the point where you have what seems like 3 weeks and a high school student to whip together these fucking mid-credit scenes, maybe you just don't. What? Why did you... You know what you could have done instead? Instead of putting these fucking rush job, hack together fucking mid-credit scenes that are fucking garbage and look like shit. Maybe, take a page from Matt Reeves in The Batman, put something cryptic together, and throw it out there as a bonus thing. Gives you more fucking time to work on it, and I didn't have to sit there and waste my fucking time watching 2 dog shit mid-credit scenes that didn't need to be there that you hacked together because Spider-Man fucking exists.
Somebody on there's a gentleman I follow on Twitter who he works for Forbes, and he had a whole article on how the Venom credit scenes and the Morbius one, they're just kind of jokey and they're not really serious, and how the whole enterprise of mid-credit scenes have kind of been ruined, and how we're all just waiting for the surprise.
Sure.
Instead of watching the movie that came before it, which
Right.
all fair comments, but I feel like this one, they're pushing towards Sinister Six again.
Yep.
Morbius has been a hero the whole movie,
Yep.
a conflicted hero, but he's been a hero the whole movie. And then,
With a clear set of morals.
and at the end of the film, he meets up with Michael Keaton, who somehow dropped into that universe, which does not make any sense using Spider-Man logic.
Yeah, because it's not how that film worked.
That's not how that film worked, but he's there, and he didn't get brought back. All of that, and he somehow found his tech, which probably didn't exist in that universe.
Yeah, he had to remake his suit. Sure.
Yeah, how did he make it? Either way.
Hopes and dreams.
Either way. Let's team up about this Spider-Man guy. Well, we could do some good and get rid of him.
Right.
Morbius has no idea who this Spider-Man character is.
Yeah.
Morbius was a hero with morals, and suddenly he's like, oh yeah, cool.
Cool.
I'll be a villain
Yeah.
and destroy this teenager
Yeah.
that I don't know exists.
Right.
And like, what?
Further-
And Venom, like he mentions Venom.
Further to that universe building shit. I'm sorry, this is a universe that everybody knows who Venom is. Like, it's so known that it's a throwaway joke in a completely different city from where all the events of Venom even took place, and Venom's not fucking making the news and shit. What? Did they have a meeting? Did they have a Zoom call? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Garbage. Hot garbage. Before we wrap this up quickly and head into our sort of conclusion, I wanted to talk just ever so briefly about one last thing that's kind of about Morbius, but more about relating to the fact that I went and saw Ambulance on the weekend.
Fair.
And so I went down to the cinemas in Oakville to see it. 3:40 on a Saturday afternoon. To me, prime movie time.
That is prime movie time.
There was 10 people in the theater for Ambulance. A brand new fucking Michael Bay joint that is off the walls and getting halfway decent reviews. No one hates it. It's a new property. It's doing Jake Gyllenhaal. What? 10 people.
Yeah.
But I was looking at my local, the Hamilton Mountain Cinema. Motherfuckers have 10 showings for Morbius today. And 3 for Ambulance. What the fuck? Nobody has reserved any seats for fucking Morbius this weekend. We just found out it's dropped 74% over last weekend. What are we doing? Why is Morbius like this pumped to the point where cinemas are wasting money showing it to probably fucking nobody?
It's because it's an IP.
Yep.
Is it?
It's a vaguely known IP. Yeah, it's Spider-Man adjacent.
Sure.
And because Sony needs to hold on to the Spider-Man bag. And
Right.
like they already have, what's his name, Kraven the Hunter on tap for January 2023, which
Great.
I'm sure will be about as good as Morbius.
Yeah. Yeah.
And just, it's a bigger conversation. If you wanted to wrap this up, this is a bad place to wrap it up.
I
because
know.
it is
Yeah.
a very bigger conversation as to since 2020 and even before that.
Yeah.
The only thing that people are going to see in the theater right now are movies with characters they recognize
Right.
or an established brand,
Right.
right?
Which is absolutely dog shit
Which is
of an idea.
so bad because, and it doesn't even have to be a brand they recognize.
Yeah.
Like West Side Story is a well-known story, a well-known play. Musical,
Nobody saw it.
and nobody saw it. And then they had the audacity to be like, "Why didn't anyone talk about it?" Well, we did.
Yeah.
We did. You guys just.
I
didn't listen.
digress. But like, not a lot of people saw Jackass,
No. And that is a brand.
and that's a brand. Scream did well,
It's a horror.
and it's a horror, so that makes sense because horror is still
Still do well.
killing the game.
Somehow.
But like Harry Potter next weekend, probably not going to do the greatest. Sonic destroyed this weekend
Saw that,
because
yeah.
it's Sonic.
Yep.
Like Morbius opened at number 1. Like it didn't kill it, but it opened at number 1 because, you know, it's Marvel adjacent.
Yeah.
Doctor Strange will blow the doors off, but what's that goofy one with Eggers that we were going to go see?
The Northman.
The Northman. That movie cost $90 million to make, and I'm sure it's going to make 9.
Yeah.
Like nobody's going to go see it because nobody cares because
Nobody
it's not a well-known story and it's not. Nobody wants to see original content right now, and if they want to see original content, it has to be somebody they know,
Right.
like Chris Nolan,
Sure.
right? Because he's a brand unto himself, so they'll
Well-
go see that.
But then so was Michael Bay.
But he's not. He hasn't been as relevant in a decade.
Oh.
Like he made Transformers, but you went to see Transformers movies because you
'Cause it
wanted
was
to see
Transformers.
not Michael Bay.
Right. And I guess Bad Boys 3 because Bad Boys 1 and 2
And he
came
didn't even
before
direct
And
it.
he didn't direct that one.
He just had a cameo, and nobody even knew it was him.
Yeah.
When I saw it in the theater. I think I saw it with you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh, Michael Bay," and nobody knew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody knew. Nobody gives a shit.
Right.
What about? Sorry to interrupt you guys.
No,
what about
no.
the Sandy B movie? That movie did decent at the box office. The Lost City.
That is one. That is an outlier.
Yeah.
That's an outlier
A true
because the
outlier.
J-Lo movie did not do well.
No, it didn't.
But and to give a shout out to my one YouTube dude that I watch every week, Dan Murrell, he looked at The Lost City and demographically, it skewed older. They came out and watched The Lost City because it was a comedy movie starring Sandra Bullock, someone who's delivered decent comedies in the past. My mom's been talking about it, so
Yeah.
like that kind of already tells me
it's-
that it kind of skews that
but there's
demographic,
barely
but they
any-
wanted to see it.
Yeah.
But there's barely any actors who do that
Exactly.
anymore, right? Robert Downey Jr. makes an Oscar-nominated, like he puts in the money and he he is the greatest. He puts in the greatest performance ever in acting history. No one's going to see it because he doesn't have his fucking Iron Man helmet on.
Right.
Sad truth.
Right?
Yeah.
Sandy B can still open a movie. I bet Brad Pitt in Bullet Train is probably going to be fine because he's still a butts and seats guy.
Yeah.
There's not many of them left.
True.
They're all gone.
True.
Or they're not going to go see it. Like,
unless it's a property.
Unless it's a property. That Nick Cage movie is probably not going to do well, even though it's Nick Cage playing Nick Cage.
You got like Brad Pitt, you got Tom Cruise. And
yeah,
even Tom Cruise.
We don't even know if Tom Cruise, we don't even know if people are going to give a shit about Top Gun.
But even Tom Cruise, he's attached to well-known IPs now. They're his quote unquote his IPs.
Yes, but when he ventures away from that,
will anything happen?
He doesn't do as well, right?
Yeah.
Because like Lions for Lambs did dog shit, and so did Rock of Ages. Doesn't help that both those movies suck, but nobody went to see them.
Right.
So I think it's a bigger conversation with the box office and with money now, where you can't even make a mid-budget fucking action thriller and expect people to go see it anymore.
Yeah.
It has to be something with a huge amount of money. And even Morbius was only cost like $70 million.
Smart decision.
Very smart. That's how much money you need to put in to make anything.
Exactly.
That's fucking ridiculous. I don't want to just see Marvel movies for the rest of my godforsaken life. Like,
no,
come
I still
on.
love going to the movie theater. All three of us love going to the movies.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to fucking see Pulp Fiction 35 millimeter next weekend. Like, we're seeing random ass stuff because we just like the experience of seeing movies in a movie theater. That's the whole thing. Like, it's not... Seeing it at home is fine, and you can rewatch shit at home all you want. You watch 4K restorations of whatever fucking movie you want. Chef's kiss to, The Godfather being restored in 4K. Beautiful. I'm glad Francis Ford Coppola is still alive to supervise the restoration.
Apparently it goes by Francesco now.
Francesco. Good for him and his winery. But yeah, like I feel like we're becoming that outlier group of, we're those 10 people that go to see Ambulance, and then you walk out into the lobby and it's a sea of kids that were all there for Sonic. Or 10 fucking screenings of Morbius.
And it's funny that you mentioned Francis Ford Coppola, because Francis Ford Coppola, one of the most prolific American directors of all time.
Yep.
He's made all-timer films that 100%. Have inspired
generations.
Yep. He can't get the money to finance his next film. He has to self-finance his next film.
Right.
The guy who made The Godfather and Apocalypse Now has to self-finance. That should tell you everything.
No. They don't want to do it.
That should tell you. That should tell you everything.
Fucking Roland Emmerich has to go and self-finance his nonsense.
Yeah. There's no room. There's no room anymore. You have to make an IP-driven 4-quadrant blockbuster that needs to blow the doors off, or it's not going to make, or you're sunk.
You get a streaming service behind you at this point,
or you get a streaming service. You sell your stuff to streaming.
Yep.
With no accountability and no one,
and you hope someone watches it,
and it
gets
doesn't even
lost
matter
in the catalog.
It doesn't even matter if somebody watches it; they don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's done.
Scorsese made The Irishman, and he made the movie he wanted to make with no oversight, and nobody behind him saying, "Maybe you should cut a little back, Marty. Maybe it's a bit too much." He doesn't give a shit that nobody saw it.
Yeah.
It got nominated for 10 Academy Awards. It's on the Criterion Collection. He doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
He made the money, and he immediately started making the next movie for Apple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's making the movies he wants. That's what you need to do. You need to get into a streaming service, or you just make something that's dirty cheap that some poor bastard sees on Twitter, who's on Twitter, and he talks about it a lot. And then other people go to see it, word of mouth. And if it only makes $30 million, it's a hit because it only cost $1 million.
Yeah, there's something about streaming services in general and the way that they're run, in the sense that you have these auteur directors, you have Scorsese, you have whoever the fuck gets a movie,
Michael Bay,
Fincher.
Judd Apatow.
Are we gonna call Judd Apatow an auteur? I don't want to go.
He
Let's
has
not-
a very specific style of making
Let's
really
not-
long-winded movies that don't know how to end.
Let's not.
He's a style unto himself.
It's true. There is
Jane-
no.
Oh, Jane Campion.
Jane Campion, yeah.
What's his name? Roma.
Alfonso Cuarón.
Alfonso Cuarón.
Yes.
Right?
You have this idea now of the traditional theatrical model of you go out, here's your money, it's financed, you go shoot your movie, you release it in theaters, based on how many people go see your movie, we can call it a success or a failure.
Yep.
You change that to selling to streaming services, they don't fucking care about that because that's not their moneymaker. Their moneymaker is subscriptions. It's not about, hey, you went and paid $11.29 or $14 to see that movie in the theater with 50 other people. No, they already got your money. The fuck do they care? You're churning in $18 a month on the regular, like fucking clockwork.
Isn't even $18 a month? I feel like I'm paying $25 now.
You are for the 4K one, yes, but Netflix is 18 here in Canada plus tax, so it's like 20 something or other.
4K, baby.
4K all the way. It's a different, like, it leads to this idea of, like, you just have completely either ridiculously no oversight movies because who's going to rein anybody in, or B, dog shit, but nobody cares because you can just throw it on there. It doesn't matter if it's good or if it's bad. When was the last, beyond The Power of the Dog? You know what? Fuck that. Fuck any movie that Netflix purchased post it actually being done already. Anything that was like festival circuit and the Netflix went, yeah, I'm going to buy it. What was the last great Netflix movie?
Well, Power of the Dog they financed.
Did they finance that? Okay, so before Power of the Dog, I guess The Irishman? Like everything else they put out is just like middle of the road shit that I guess you could throw on. Like Red Notice was hot garbage.
Oh,
Yeah.
that was terrible. They bought that from somebody.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just it's a completely different.
It's getting two sequels.
Of course it is, because it was the most watched, which is another whole other conversation.
Yeah,
about
don't
how
get
they
us started
track
on their fucking
how their
algorithm.
metrics.
Yeah.
We need to speak about metrics.
Yeah, but like it's led to this different world of filmmakers who are not ostracized but left on the outside that can't get shit made because if you want to put it in theaters, too fucking bad. We're not going to do it unless you can bring it in for a Michael Bay budget of $40 million at the most.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, you need $80 million? You haven't made a movie in 20 years, so that's too risky. Like,
And even saying that, they should have put. People are saying they're complaining about Peacock and doing the day and date with Peacock,
right.
but now they're like, why didn't you do day and date with Michael on that one?
Right.
Right? Which
Or-
would have made perfect sense.
Yeah. Or we have shortened streaming window, or a shortened theatrical window now of like, what, Universal I think is like 2 weeks.
2
if they
weeks
want.
for
2 weeks,
Universal.
yeah.
Like,
17 days, yeah. But
Yeah.
I like that better though.
yeah, at least it has a shot.
At least because if it didn't do well enough, it still has a shot of us giving a shit. The Outfit just came out on streaming
Right.
or to rent.
Yeah.
And you reminded me the other day that it was out now, and
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm really excited to see that because I didn't have a chance to go see it,
No.
and I'm still remembering it as opposed to the old window where it would come out in July,
Right.
when I forgot it existed.
Yeah.
At least now I can watch it this week and still remember that I wanted to see it.
Yeah.
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 And not be stumbling through Netflix and be like,
For sure.
I remember
Oh, yeah,
when
I
I wanted to
remember
see
that.
that.
At least we're giving movies a shot before they end up on a streaming service and hope to find an audience with somebody. But like the ones that are going directly to streaming, you lose the idea of quality just because the model's different. The ones that go to theatrical, no one's willing to take a risk anymore.
Yeah.
And it's just sad. It really it's sad.
Well, the industry bubble is it's about to pop because everything that's coming out now is stuff that was greenlit in the pandemic, or
Right.
everything they're making now is greenlit during the pandemic as opposed to being
Prior.
put
Yeah,
prior,
pushed,
and
yeah.
then they had to get pushed and they had
Yeah.
to do whatever the hell to make it happen.
Right.
But now it's all stuff that's been greenlit during the pandemic, so they're cutting back budgets, and they have to cut back budgets because the fucking goalpost has to
Right.
move back.
Yeah.
Sure, Spider-Man killed the goalpost type thing, but now all the other Marvel movies are not hitting the goalpost anymore.
Yeah.
And they needed them to hit the goalpost. And now that China is not taking all the fucking American movies anymore, they can't rely on that money anymore.
Yep. And even if they do, like most recently, the Batman went there and
didn't do well.
It didn't do well because they're in a fucking another wave of COVID, and like no one's going to the movies in China right now. There's not even like a good China release recently.
Even saying that, still though, they're going to Chinese releases. They're not going to American movies
course.
anymore.
Yep.
Right? Like last year, the top two in China like made over $400 million in a weekend.
In a weekend.
Two movies did that.
Yeah.
Or sorry, over 300. I think only one hit 400.
Yes.
Then the other
but
one.
Still,
like,
it was the top 10 globally was mostly China.
That didn't used to happen, and it's never happened here. Any movie that does that well is just one movie, not two.
Yeah. And that is a whole other conversation.
And that's a whole other
Chinese market.
that's a whole other conversation, but it all stems down to if you're not an IP driven franchise, you don't stand a chance. No, there was 10 people in X that I saw the day after it opened. We saw Morbius the other day, and there was 15 people there.
Maybe. We were like the biggest group that was there, and there was 4 of us.
Right.
When I was at the Lost City, there wasn't that many people either.
Right. We saw fucking Nightmare Alley on opening night, and there was 30 or 40 people there.
Yeah, and we went to a more niche cinema.
I know, but still.
It helps. That cinema, I'm so happy that small independent exists. Like, shout outs to the Playhouse for existing, but that's where we got the biggest crowd that I think we've had all pandemic was there. Like, even when I went to see Spider-Man, which did gangbusters, and I went at like 10 o'clock in the morning, still maybe 25 people. Like, it wasn't that many.
I saw a fucking Spider-Man at 11 o'clock on a Saturday.
Yeah.
Right? That weekend.
In the morning?
Yeah. And 15 people.
No.
Like, what is this saying to you?
People are comfortable.
Like, I love that it's a lot easier to watch movies now, and it's a lot more convenient that I don't have to wait as long.
Sure.
But I don't want that trade-off that we have to see everything everywhere all at once this week, because if we don't, we're not going to get a chance.
Yeah. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Let's get into our final segment before we just wrap this up quickly. Dave, my man, my Amazon package collector.
Dave's New Blues.
What do you got for us, buddy? You got a new blue. I know it. I know you do. Did you bring it with you? Did you bring a show and tell today?
I did bring a show.
Oh, yeah.
I did bring a show and tell. I wanted to talk about Mary Shelley's Frankenstein from Arrow Video, which just did a 4K restoration.
Ooh,
Kenneth Branagh directed that film. Oscar winner Kenneth Branagh. But instead, I've decided to bring the new Scream Factory 4K release of a Jaws knockoff called Alligator.
Alligator.
It's a film from 1980.
Yeah.
It is very much a Jaws knockoff.
Sure.
It is about a killer alligator in the sewer who is wreaking havoc.
In the sewer of like a city? Or
Yeah,
like
in the sewer of a city.
Okay.
Of a city. He's wreaking havoc, and Robert Forster is a detective on the case who people don't believe him that there's an alligator in the sewers.
Oh, okay.
And then they suddenly start believing him.
Sure.
I'm into this.
It is.
I'm into it.
I watched the 4K there's a 4K theatrical version, a Blu-ray theatrical version,
Right.
which apparently has a special feature from somebody who worked in the craft department by the name of Bryan Cranston. It was one of his first films, and he was like in like the set design crafts.
That's
super
cool.
And then disc 3 is the Blu-ray version of the TV, the edited for content version of Alligator,
Amazing.
which I would love to watch because this movie is fucking violent.
Nice.
Like that. When I say he's destroying this is a killer alligator, like he is. Ramon is a very, very killer alligator.
Wait,
Love that.
the alligator's name is Ramon?
Ramon.
Ramon.
Yes.
Love it.
That is his name.
That's amazing.
That is his name.
Who gave him the name?
So
Was it the kid that flushed down the gator?
So at the beginning of the film, the little girl gets the gator, yes, and she names it Ramon. And
Right.
then The dad flushes it.
There we go. Yeah. Cool.
And then
Bastard.
yeah.
and then it goes from there. And they don't know that it's the same gator, but we do. So we know that's
Oh
his
no,
name.
it's Ramon.
And I need to read you a piece of dialogue. 'Cause
Okay.
I wrote it down because
We got a quote.
it's a seminal piece of dialogue.
Right.
And it's from Robert Forster.
Okay.
He's trying to convince the girl to stay with him.
Sure.
Thing. And she says, "Yeah, well, what do you need me for?" And Robert Forster, who has a number of jokes about his receding hairline,
Sure.
which apparently were improvised, he says, "What does anyone need anyone for? You're the country's leading herpetologist. You have a beautiful mind, a doctor's degree, and beautiful tits." And that's why he needs to keep her around. Mad respect for Robert Forster.
James, what are you doing after this podcast? Because I say we fucking throw this gem of a movie on.
It looks, the 4K, like some of the nighttime scenes don't
Yeah.
look great, but everything else looks magnificent.
Amazing.
It is. I bought this movie blind and I watched it for the first time with my father-in-law and I had a fucking gas.
amazing.
So much
everything
fun.
about that.
I want to watch the edited for TV version.
I kind of do too because I feel like it'd be interesting because
You're
I have
a doctor and you have amazing breasts.
not even that amazing shirts. No, it has to be amazing turtlenecks.
Amazing turtleneck.
Something
Fuck's sakes.
dumb. Just like, where'd you get that scar, tough guy? Eating
Pineapple.
Do you see what happens? Do you see what happens when you meet a stranger in the Alps?
That one's one of my favorites. I love when these are features on DVD
Gold.
or on Blu-ray.
So good.
Because I have the TV version of RoboCop,
Amazing.
and which I'm sure is
do they just
10
like
minutes long.
Do they just like pan to the ceiling when Peter Weller's getting annihilated by hand cannons?
I don't even know. But and I have the TV version of Halloween, which it's amazing that premiered on NBC.
Oh my god.
Sure. Like the 80s were a hell of a time, man.
Hell of a time.
Hell of a time. But yeah, Alligator 4K. Can't go wrong. I'm glad I went blind on that one because it was a good purchase.
Yeah. That's amazing. So I think that's going to wrap it up for us. We'll be back in 2 weeks. I think we kind of, because I don't remember where we were talking about it, but I think we did kind of say our next episode is The Northman.
The Northman.
Are we going to do
some hot dogs picks?
and some hot dogs
picks? Yes, we were going to talk about hot dogs that is coming up. We are going to see The Northman, and I guess more generally for The Northman, we're going to have to just talk about Robert Eggers.
Yeah, I was going to say, aren't we going to do a little retrospective of our man, Robert Eggers?
My temporary
I
title.
don't know if we should say our man. He's not my man.
We got kind of a love-hate relationship with Robert Eggers.
My temporary title is Episode 5, The Northman, in brackets, An Evening with Robert Eggers.
I like that title. I wish.
Man.
You should. Robert
so many
Eggers, if you're
questions.
listening to this, please.
So many questions.
You think
Please.
he's listening to a random podcast from a bunch
never,
of Canadians?
You never know.
You never know.
He did shoot the Vivitch in Canada.
It's true, he did.
He did.
And we'll tag him in the episode.
Yeah, tag him in the episode.
Tag him in the episode.
See
See what he
thinks.
says.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got this.
Is
Yeah,
there
so
anything you guys want to close with?
No, I just as usual, thank you for listening. Appreciate all of you.
Fuck Chad.
Fuck Chad still.
Fuck Chad. Fuck that
And,
man.
Yeah, we'll talk in 2 weeks. I'm going to figure out what I'm going to do with that little bonus section that went on a little bit too long.
Yeah.
But so if you want to see it, hit us up on Twitter or Instagram.
Absolutely.
And let us know. And otherwise, subscribe to our Patreon. Help us out if you want. If not, that's cool too. I just appreciate you listening.
Stay fresh. Stay classy.
One love.
You're not vengeance.
Goodbye, everybody.